The Big Cheese's Adventure. In 1926, a peculiar figure boarded a tramp steamer bound for the New World, hidden inside an old cheese crate. This was no ordinary crate, mind you. It had been carefully packed with the essentials for a journey that promised both adventure and self-reinvention. The crate, seasoned by time and mystery, carried a man who had said his goodbyes to the cobbled streets of Cheesley, a quaint town nestled on the shores of the old country. His name? Big Cheese, of course, though he wasn't always so large. He had grown into his title, one grating experience at a time. Big Cheese had left behind everything he knew: his family, his friends, the beloved cheese markets, and, most of all, the comfort of the familiar. But there was one thing he had made sure to bring with him: his prized collection of 7 single records of Cheesley operetta music. Each record was a treasure, pressed with the melodies of the finest composers from Cheesley's golden age of operetta. Among them was his personal favorite, The Marriage of Cheesio by Cheesart. To Big Cheese, it wasn't just music. It was the sound of his heritage, a soundtrack to the dreams he carried with him into the unknown. His journey aboard the tramp steamer was quiet. Most passengers were too busy with their own thoughts, their own futures, to notice the man crammed into a dusty crate. Big Cheese didn't mind. He was used to solitude. He could hear the faint hum of the ship's engines as it cut through the waves. But what really kept him awake at night were the strains of operetta floating in his mind. The Marriage of Cheesio was always the first to play, a familiar waltz that transported him back to the streets of Cheesley. But the world on the other side of the ocean was much different than he expected. As the ship docked in New York, the bustling streets of the city were a far cry from the peaceful shores of Cheesley. The noise, the people, the towering buildings. It was overwhelming. But Big Cheese was determined. He had come to make his mark. He was going to introduce the world to the magic of Cheesley operetta music, a world he believed had never truly appreciated the genre's depth and charm. His first stop was a small cafe on the corner of a busy street. He walked in, his chest puffed out with purpose, and placed his 7 records on the counter. The cafe owner, a scrappy Italian with a taste for jazz, looked up at Big Cheese, puzzled. "What's this?" the owner asked, eyeing the records. "These," Big Cheese said proudly, "are the soundtracks of my homeland. Music that transcends borders, that brings together all walks of life. You, my friend, are going to play these in your cafe. I guarantee it will change the mood of this entire city." The owner chuckled, but there was a glint of curiosity in his eyes. He agreed to play the records, and as the first notes of The Marriage of Cheesio filled the cafe, something strange began to happen. The bustling city, with its hurried pace and sharp edges, slowed down. People stopped what they were doing. Some closed their eyes, others swayed gently. The delicate melodies wrapped themselves around the hearts of even the most hardened city dwellers. For a moment, it felt as though time itself had taken a pause, like the music had connected something deep inside them all. Word spread quickly. Big Cheese, the man with the records, had brought something different to New York, a taste of the old country, served with a side of passion and pride. Soon, people were coming from all corners of the city to hear the operetta, to experience the romance and elegance of Cheesley's finest creation. Big Cheese became a local legend, known not only for his love of music, but for his unshakable belief in the power of melody to change the world. But Big Cheese didn't stop there. He began to travel to other cities, carrying his records, sharing his love for Cheesley operetta, and teaching others about the Marriage of Cheesio. He played in grand concert halls, in tiny living rooms, and even in the quiet of his own apartment, where he would listen alone, the music spinning in perfect harmony with his dreams. Each time, the world was a little bit more enchanted by the magic of Cheesley. In the end, Big Cheese didn't just make his mark. He became a part of the fabric of the new world, a symbol of perseverance, of belief in something pure and true. And through it all, he never let go of his beloved operetta music. As the years passed, the records became worn, but the melodies never lost their charm. Big Cheese had brought a little piece of Cheesley with him, and it had made all the difference. The world had not just heard his music, it had danced to it. And for Big Cheese, that was all that mattered. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like, share, and subscribe buttons to stay updated with more content. This content has been adapted from the powerful features of Poly Speaks for You, South Africa's leading accessibility software. Learn more at www.polyspeaksforyou.co.za. We invite you to support this meaningful dyslexic initiative, crafted and developed by an individual who personally understands the challenges of dyslexia.